Our climber is up on the wall on a single pitch, needing a rescue. Last week, we performed the pick-off rescue procedure using a gree-gree. This week, we are using a tube-style plaquette device. Hi there again. I'm Jason. So today, we are going to go get an injured climber who is up on the wall by ascending the brake strand on our rope and then heading down with the climber while using a plaquette device. Of course, the details are what make this process work. If we are a bit away from the wall, we can keep tension while, in essence, belaying ourselves into position. To go hands-free, we next need to tie off the device. With a gree-gree, we could simply tie an overhand on a bite. With a tube-style device, depending upon the width of the tubes and the width of the rope, a simple bite knot can jam into the device. So, we are going to do a releasable knot, and there are many options. As a close-up of one option, we pull a bite back through the carabiner and towards the spine side of that carabiner. Then we take another bite from the brake strand and thread it through that loop along the spine. Extending our final bite, we bring it up above the device and tie an overhand finishing knot with about 30 centimeters of tail. We can now add a foot loop above us by tying a clem heist or prusik or by adding in a T-block. We did a short video on the clem heist, and you can follow the link in this video's description to see the details of tying that knot. We can now step into that foot loop, and it's a good idea to girth hitch it around our foot, which will keep it in place. Making sure to anchor our foot, we can now release the tension on the device. This allows us to move it into guide mode on our harness. We take a locking carabiner and clip the guide mode ring to our belay loop. Now we unclip the original belay carabiner from our belay loop, making sure to keep the rope running through it and then relocking it. At this point, we can untie our tied off belay, and the load strand is pinching down onto the brake strand to help lock it off. This setup will produce a lot of friction as we ascend, so another good idea is to place the brake strand through the carabiner at the foot loop. That will add some mechanical advantage as we haul in line at our waist. To ascend, we alternate standing in the foot loop, pulling in all the slack we can out of the brake strand, and then sitting into the device so that we can unweight and move up the foot loop. We also will need a backup. We can put in a clove hitch on a locking carabiner below our device, taking out slack in that hitch as we move up. Finishing our ascent, we can render aid and get ready to move down. If this were a trad placement, we may want to add more gear and make a proper anchor to back up the loaded placement. On a sport route, we may want to consider adding in an opposite and opposed draw. That can be hard with a loaded rope and draws of the same size, so another option would be adding in a longer draw like an alpine draw. Again, opposite and opposed, this time just functioning as a backup. Or we could add in carabiners in a sling, threading the carabiners back and forth in a block and tackle, which gives us mechanical advantage to come tight on the rope before tying off the sling with a mule and overhand knot. As we now start to capture our climber's rope with a tether, if we were on a gree-gree, we could repurpose that sling from our foot loop. But with a plaquette device, we are going to need that foot loop for a bit longer, so we need another sling. We can tie a clem heist to our climber's line and clip it to our belay loop. We are going to want to rappel back up, and yet another sling may come in handy, maybe taking it from our other climber. We would prefer to not have our friction hitch back up on our leg loop, because the simple act of raising our leg in the wrong way, all while managing the complications of our injured climbing partner and descending with them next to us, can cause the friction hitch to fail. We did a short on this problem, and there's another link in the description. After girth hitching that sling to our hard points, we wrap it around our waist, moving towards the direction of our partner, and then around our back to the side away from our partner, and then use that place at our hip to add our friction hitch back up. Being on the side away from the other climber, our hand nearest the climber is free to help guide them. Now we need to stand in our foot loop to again unweight our device. With the slack we've created, we reverse the process we used to put it in guide mode. We reclip the rope carabiner to our belay loop and then remove the guide ring carabiner. We can clean the foot loop and descend, adjusting our catastrophe clove, and on the way down, we may also consider reclipping protection above us as we pass by. That would add a point that might catch us should the top protection fail. Have you used or seen someone use a pick-off in the wild? Let us know about it in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and share if you want to support us. For more information, you can go to our website at www.shortguysbetaworks.com. You can watch last week's video on the simplified version of this procedure that uses Agree, or you can check out this entire single pitch rescue series as we add to it in each of the coming weeks. We'll see you next week, and keep on getting more out of that big outside.